This is a recording of the Workboard community webinar previewing our March 2015 features. We're really excited to show these off to you. I'm Victoria, your customer success advocate at Workboard, and I'm here with Deidre Paknad, our CEO. Today, we're going to be covering the Workboard story and big idea, and then we're going to go into actually showing you the features that we're bringing out in March. After that, we'll talk a little bit about where we're going next, and then we'll share some feedback that we've received, as well as give you an opportunity to show us how you use Workboard. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Deidre to talk about the Workboard story.
Great, thanks Victoria. And thank you for tuning in today and joining us for this webinar. Workboard started from my experience as a manager. Just before starting the company, I was an executive at IBM and I ran quite a large team there after selling my last company into IBM. And what I thought then, in many ways, is what I thought over the course of my career as a manager. Not as good a leader or manager as I'd like to be. And I think that's what most managers and leaders would say. The path to management leader usually starts from getting promoted for your domain skills. So you're really good at something specific, and because of that, you get promoted to manage a team of others doing that same thing. And while you know a lot about that specific domain area, you may not know much about management, and you probably don't get a lot of help on what it means to be a great manager early in your career. But if you're great at the domain, you'll get promoted for domain success, and you'll surround yourself, or you may already be surrounded by other people who have that same domain skill. And that can be really fun. Those are heady times. It's terrific. And because everybody's equally good on the domain, management skill and management technique aren't all that important. But if you're good at that, you'll get promoted again for your business success, and then it gets a little harder. You get a little farther away from the domain, your team gets bigger, maybe they're working across different locations. Not everybody's as good on the team as you would have been as an individual contributor. And then you find yourself really working very long days and long weeks as you try and do all the management jobs that really do need to get done. And you may think, I have no life. But if you wrestle your way through that and muscle through, you'll get promoted for your ability to scale a business. And when you get there, it's usually where the recognition comes that more skill, more capacity would really make a difference in your leadership skills and how much you and your team can accomplish together. We think there are 169 million managers with really important but really hard jobs. And the job's getting harder because our companies are getting more complex, because we work across more time zones, our teams are more distributed. As we move farther away from each other, it takes more discipline and more skill to make sure that we align around goals. Our support systems are shrinking, but our days are definitely not shrinking. In fact, they're endless, and they run across and through weekends with no boundaries. And accountability is a constant if you work in a big organization. And along with that, the reporting and the meetings that go with it. The manager's job is very straightforward. It's the same everywhere. Define goals, triage priorities, get the right work done, report your progress, and provide feedback to people on the team for their work. But collectively, we're not doing very well. Recent studies by Gallup and Deloitte and others show that just 7% of the people at work understand the goals of the organization and what they need to do to achieve those goals. But 76% of people walk around with a to-do list. And what's on the list? Because it's not what we need to do to achieve the goals. And because people are doing work that's unrelated or misconnected to the goals, they're not really engaged in the work, and it's not very satisfying. And only 13% of people report being actively engaged or happily engaged in the mission of the company they work at. And of course, managers spend all their time reporting progress and in meetings and readouts and preparing ops reviews and quarterly reviews and weekly reports. It's a huge time drain, and it leaves managers without the time to make sure that the team understands the goals and the right work is being done. And when it comes to feedback, most of it happens in a performance review at year end. And managers, employees, and executives all say that that's a waste of time process, ineffective for everybody. The manager's job is hard and getting more difficult. And those break points that we talk about, those aren't because managers are dumb or that I wasn't very able or scalable or because management is rocket science. It's because we don't have enough hours in the day, given the complexities, diversity of the work we do and the distribution of the teams we have. And maybe we don't have enough time in the day to achieve all that we want to achieve. With Workboard, what we want to do is provide managers with the app to manage brilliantly, to really manage and lead your teams to your absolute best. And to us, that means bringing goals, priorities, work, status reports, and feedback all together in one easy app. So it's really easy to align the team and the work on the goals of the organization. Reporting progress gets automated, and you give feedback every step of the way to the people on your team and the people on the team to each other. So with that, let's look at what Workboard's doing in March to make managing and leading a team and achieving as a team even easier. One of the first things we're doing is refreshing the My Work page. So that needs to be reorganized, as you no doubt know. We've got a today in the upper left, this week in the upper right, then the badges and the notifications sort of interrupt that, and then the laundry list comes at the bottom. So we're reorganizing that so that the page is more effective for you. So there's a calendar view for this week, which is probably how you think about your week. There's personal stats, so if you're a person who likes to keep score of your progress, that'll be easy to do. You can reorder your list by dragging and dropping items up and down, and the notification tray will move to a more appropriate place and out of your way. On action items, there's a couple things that I suspect you know and recognize and want yourself. And Gaurav here, a new engineer on our team, is excited to deliver two of the biggies. The ability to reply via email to a comments notification, and the ability to set a reminder on an action item. So for example, if something is due next Monday, you might want to set a reminder for this Thursday so you give some attention to it this week. In addition to those things, you'll be able to give badges to anyone on the team, and they can give badges to each other, and you'll be able to give a badge on an action item itself. You'll be able to click ping on an action item in the browser, and Workboard will fire off a note to the action item owner to say, where are you on this particular action? You'll be able to clear due dates on action items and comment on them in the reports themselves. In addition to those changes on My Work and Actions, we're adding the ability to cheer people on the Goals and Metrics page. We're doing a refresh of the Work Streams page, and I'll show you what that will look like. We're reordering the menu buttons so they're where you expect them to be. And what we see from users is the order of use or most frequent use is My Work at the top, then Work Streams, then Goals, Reports, and Teams. So we're reordering them to where you go to most often. We're improving the onboarding experience so you and the people you invite to your team can more easily get up and going. And last but definitely not least, we're enhancing the iPhone app so it catches up with the Android app that we have and is more useful for all of our iOS users. So let me give you a look at each of those things. So the My Work page changes to, well, more literally, the list of your work. So your starting point will be your list for today, and that list won't get cut off at 6 items. If the list is short, you'll see the few. If the list is long, they'll all be right here in one single page. The table structure and so on is very similar to how it used to look. Not much has changed there. And then in this one view, you can go from today to this week, to the overdue list, to what you've delegated, to things other people have requested from you. You'll just be able to navigate back and forth into this one common list at the center of the page and not have a bunch of things interrupting that view. In addition to that, you'll be able to move things around on the list. So on the Today view, for example, You may want to order them by the sequence that you want to do them. Move this item to the top, that's the first thing that you need to do. In addition to being able to reorder that, you'll be able to save your sort and come back to it later. So if you order your list and you want to go off to the work streams page and come back, by clicking on My Sort, you'll be able to come right back to the way you ordered your own list. Just the same way you could go sort on rating or due date or status and organize or sort the list the other way. If you use the filters or the edit, you'll be able to leave those open or closed at your convenience. So today the filter box is always open, and for people who don't use it, it's in their way. It sort of complicates their page. Now you'll be able to slide it open and slide it closed. So if you are a person who consistently moves back and forth between looking at your done list and looking at what's in progress, leave it open. If you never do those things, just put it out of your way. Likewise on badges and the progress meter. If you like to see your trophy case and you want that on your page and you really like to see your own progress in the week, well, slide open this little trophy case and it'll be present and visible all the time. And as you get badges, and if your team really gives a lot of badges, it's a great way to stay connected and to just feel the momentum. The progress meter on the right will show your percentage of completion on those things you intended to get done over the course of the week. And your cycle time will show you how long it takes you to go from starting to do something to getting it done. And your velocity rank will be how your action item completions compare to the other people in your organization. So if you like to keep score or play sports, this will make it easy and fun to do that on your own team. On each action item now, there'll be a little menu off to the right where you can give a badge on the action item, ping somebody for status, or just delete it without having to open it. And if you decide to give a badge, there'll be a whole new set of badges that are intended for teammates, co-workers, and colleagues to give to each other. And those are a real refresh. Netta on our UX team hopes that you have fun with them. Of course, it's better to give than to receive, so we hope you give a lot of badges. They're a great way to just pat somebody on the back, or one of the badges came because one of our dev team members volunteered to go out and get lunch for the whole crew in a torrential downpour. So we created a special badge just for things like that. So hopefully you'll find them fun and you'll find more than just work occasions to give them to each other. And then the feature that most of you have been waiting for the most is, of course, the calendar view of your week. So that'll be organized now Monday through the end of the week or the weekend. And you'll see the action items, the work stream that they're in, the status, and so on. The red flag and amber and green flags will be a little stripe down the left. So the things that are at risk are red flagged. You'll still be able to easily see or pick out, right, where your risk is and where you need to give special attention. Probably most importantly, you'll be able to drag something from a Tuesday, for example, to Friday. And as you do that, it'll reset the due date on that action item. So you can really manage your workload over the course of the week. And when it gets to Friday, you can still see those things that were due on Monday or Tuesday that didn't get done and drag them forward or move them to your Saturday if you want to knock them off over the weekend. I want to introduce Rocio, who's the lead designer at Workboard, and she was our first designer on the team, was on board in 2013, and from the very beginning, our first alpha and beta products and launch every step of the way. And she's so excited to finally get a calendar out to you, and she really hopes that you get value and benefit from it. On the calendar view, you'll be able to change the status, assign it to somebody else, change due dates, and delete it right here, or as always, open it up and add more details to it. And you probably noticed that the notifications tray is not right in the middle of the page anymore. We've moved it up to where they belong, so notifications are up at the top with a little indicator of how many new notifications you have. The things that work well about notifications, the ability to easily see who it's from and what it's about, that's still there. So you can see that Brett has a new attachment and how long ago that was, or that Olivia just got something done. Those symbols, those shortcuts are still right there. And of course, you can still click directly into the action item or directly on the attachment. But what's also new here is you'll be able to drag this whole tray off of the page and move it over to the right so you can have your notifications window open and see your whole My Work page. So for those of you who really rely on the notifications to follow through, that'll get even easier. So I mentioned that the priorities and work streams page are being reorganized. So the priorities menu button is going to go away. There won't be a priorities page anymore. The graphs and the data on the priorities page was almost completely redundant to what was on the work streams page. But the one thing that was on priorities that we moved into the work streams page is actually pretty valuable, and most users didn't find it. So we're moving it to a location where it's more accessible and you can get more benefit from it. And that is the list of all the priorities and all the red flags across all of your teams and all of your work streams. So that's one handy list of all of your top priorities and all of your risks, and it's all in one place. You get a pie chart that tells you what percentage of the work your teams are doing is high priority and what percentage of all of that work is at risk. You'll see the average completion time on high priority items, so you'll be able to tell whether the most important work is really getting done at the pace that you would expect. And then you'll see the average age of the red flags, which will give you a sense of whether you're removing roadblocks fast enough, or when things go wrong, if people set it aside and important stuff gets forgotten because it got hard. And you'll be able to resolve those more quickly and find them more easily with this change. That link, All Priorities and Risks, will be right at the top of your work streams page now. And you'll be able to get to it very quickly. So let's turn to the iPhone. The screens you see here are actually from the Android, which is a generation ahead of our iPhone app right now, and the iPhone needs to catch up. So one of the biggest changes is the Today list. So now the default page or the starter page in iPhone will be your list of action items for today. And that'll be one list, a single page, really simple, focus here, right? And you'll still be able to see the rest of your list and so on, and you'll still be able to see the team's work. The next thing that gets a lot easier on the iPhone in this next generation is instead of seeing all of the work streams across all of your teams with no real categorization, now you'll see those organized by team. So if you, for example, in the middle screen, click Sales Team, you'll see the 5 work streams for the sales team. And you can click into any of those work streams and see the action items. You get a sense of how much work is active in each one of them, and you can drill in from there. You can move those around as well, so it'll reflect what you use most frequently. And then completely new to the iPhone, but one of the common or popular features on the Android is a Teams page or a team dashboard. So the screen on the right is a dashboard for the sales team. You can see the work in progress, the amount of work done by the team, and then a little thumbnail for each of the team members that shows you how much work they have in flight now, what they've gotten finished, and then how many red flags they have. And that's really, if you're a manager, that's really your cue of who needs your help. And if you're on the road and you are a sales team manager, it's a pretty handy way to have your one-on-ones. Just click on the person's name and you'll see their list of work, and it'll be right there in your hand. On the Goals and Metrics module, the new feature here is the ability to add comments as metrics progress and as the team moves closer to goal. So you'll be able to have a conversation around the goal, etc. So in this case, the release 3 new products goal, this person has posted a comment, awesome progress, really happy with the results so far. That was an hour ago, and as you can see, there's 30 more comments, and you could just add a new comment here as well. The comments have not only what it is you want to say, but there are some cool emoticons here. And what we found is we really use goals and metrics around here, and every team has their own goals and metrics, and I actually look at how we're progressing against them. And I really wanted to be able to say, oh, that's fantastic, great job, or I love this trend, but I didn't have a way to do that. So now we have a way to do that. And of course, when the trend's really amazing, they're so cool, you can add even the little guy with shades to it. Hopefully, you'll have better and more conversations around team momentum to your important goals and objectives in a quarter and in the year. That's it for March. It's a big bucket of features and changes, and hopefully we didn't overwhelm you with those. The structure and the organization didn't change a lot, but we think we smoothed out a lot of rough edges. We put things where you would naturally look for them, and we've added a lot of conveniences. And hopefully you saw those or a glimpse of them here today, and you'll feel and benefit from them when you use the app in March. After March, we have another set of things on the spring roadmap. Some of those are free features, and others are more premium features and capabilities. There'll be a fair amount of enhancement on the team page, including a directory of members or people in your ecosystem so you can get to people's profiles and even have conversations with them more easily. The team profiles will be smarter and better, and you'll be able to navigate your teams a little more easily than you can today. We know the thing you most want is Outlook integration and other APIs to integrate. Those are coming. We know it's incredibly important, in particular calendar integration. And then we have this endless list of minor features, truly too numerous to mention, but we try and push those in as fast as we can. There's a long list. We hope you will add to it and tell us what matters to you, and we'll get it in as quickly as we can. And then we're adding in a number of referral incentives for the premium features. So if you want access for premium features for a longer period of time, instead of paying for those, you'll be able to, for example, refer other users in your organization to Workboard, and in exchange for that, get premium access for 60 days, 90 days, or even up to a year, depending on how many others you refer. We want to grow the Workboard user community and member community, and we hope you want access to the premium features, and that'll be a win-win for both of us. The new premium features coming include the ability to manage as an organization. If you have many, many teams, and we have lots of folks that have 4 layers of management, 25 teams, and they want to get a full view of that and manage more as a company than as a group of connected teams. Execution analytics will come in as a premium feature. Prepare your own quarterly reports and so on. Look like a rock star at your next quarterly business review. Do it in 5 minutes instead of 50 hours. And then we're adding individual goals. So you can have goals not just for teams, but for individuals on the teams. And there's a whole host of enhancements coming around that. And then hopefully in time for your mid-year performance reviews, we'll have some new capabilities around one-on-ones and the stats and analytics, so that as an individual contributor, you can really show off your great work, the power of your contribution over the last 6 months. And as a manager, you can quickly elevate those people on your team who are really standout contributors, and you won't have to do a research project to find the facts about who your rockstar players are. When we shared the roadmap and the features that were coming with the user community last week in the live webinar, we had about 100 people, and they were very excited about what they saw, and we hope you are too. Here's some of the feedback in the conversation. It was just really fun for us to see people cheering as they saw the calendar and the other features and capabilities. Hopefully you like what you saw. Please do send us your feedback. And although this is not a live webinar, we are really listening. We really want to hear what you think, and we're really responding to your feedback and your input, getting things on the roadmap and getting them out to you as fast as we can. You can send me your thoughts and ideas. It's Deidre at Workboard. You probably got an invitation from me for this webinar, the original one, and this recording. You can always send your feedback and your thoughts and your questions to Victoria at Workboard. She's terrific, and she really wants to hear and will help you unblock or unlock Workboard benefits for your team. So either one of us, we're listening. Let us know what you think. We really want to hear your feedback. If you love something, let us know. And if you don't, let us know that too, so we can fix it and improve it. Let me close the webinar by first thanking you for using Workboard, for spending the time to find out what's coming, and for your feedback and contribution to the list of features that we have slated for March and beyond. In the live webinar last week, we asked people how they Workboard, and we were just delighted that people sent us selfies of their Workboard, their desk, or their team with Workboard. Nothing inspires us more than creating apps that work for you. And when we see you, get to know you better, it's a thrill for our dev team, for the customer success team, and for me personally. We love it. It's a wonderful way to connect. So I invite you to tweet or send us a selfie with Workboard in the pic. And if you do that, we'll send you a treat. And more importantly, we'll get to know you. We'll get inspired to deliver a great app faster and faster for you. It will be fun, hopefully for you as well. You see the team at EnviroSent sent us this awesome selfie with all three of them in the picture. Rachel at Hilton Worldwide sent us her desk and her Mac, and you can see she's still got that Excel spreadsheet up there. And then Catherine at Snake River Fund has her nice mug, just doing her work, working off of her My Work page. We just loved it. It was just a kick for us. Hopefully you'll take a second to, one, send us your feedback on the features and what you think, and two, drop us a selfie so we can get to know you. We'd love it. And with that, I'll close the webinar and thank you again for using Workboard. Have a great day.